you know, I'm winning. Sips tea. Hey everybody, so today I want to talk to you about autism and mental health. And if none of you knew, I struggle with autism. It's something I don't really talk openly about, but it is now something I want to talk more about on my channel. And yeah, and don't you love my top? It's okay not to be okay, and it really is. And I'll leave the shop down below, Yana, and 10% of money go to Mind Charity, so yeah, that's good. Let's get into the video. So I have a blog post here that I wrote in April time of this year, and I wanted to read it to you all on my channel because I want to be more open about my autism, as I said previously. So here we go. Imagine being 16 and being told that you will and have been living with a learning disability all of your life. You never knew you had or even suspected. You learn that the disability has been colouring your every interaction you had made with the world. From the way you perceive sensory things, like sounds and lights, to the way you communicate with others. This was the position I was put in at age 16. At this time this post was written, it was almost exactly 2 years ago. However, now it's just over 2 years. Yeah. Not only now did I have depression, anxiety, an eating disorder and dyslexia, I now too had autism. I was confused. And now I've got EUPD, as you well know from my channel. Autism, otherwise known as ASD, or in brackets, autism spectrum disorder, is a developmental disability just like dyslexia, and it exists on the spectrum. It isn't experienced by any two people the same. Each individual is affected differently by social interaction, communication, and the way they receive sensory input. Autism isn't anything that can be cured or treated, and it can't be developed by vaccination, as some at one time thought it could. But it is the way that the brain develops. The condition is from birth. Autism is thought to affect 1 in 100 people, though it is now believed that it may be more common than that. It is now being recognised how underdiagnosed autism is, especially amongst young girls and women. Why is it that it is underdiagnosed in women and girls, you may be wondering? Well, there is 2 reasons. The first is that the diagnostics tools are more tailored towards autistic boys, and it is now recommended that autism assessments should be adapted for girls and women, as it is now recognised that they might not fit the typical profile of autism. Girls and women are more likely to mask their symptoms, for example social difficulties, as they teach themselves how to socialise, i.e. copying other people. It is fortunate that I was ever diagnosed because I fall into the bracket where I mask my symptoms of autism. I never actively looked for a diagnosis, which some fight for years to get. Only came about for me as a doctor I was working with at the time picked up on the small things about my life and behaviours, which I never knew were autistic traits at the time. I never realised that my struggle with being overwhelmed in loud or bright environments, my repetitive behaviours, my obsessive interests, which helped create my blog, which is in the down bar, and also this YouTube channel now, and the rigid structure I liked and the breakdowns I had if I thought I was going to be late for anything or plans changed last minute. Little did I or my family know these were all clear signs I had autism. It took me a year to come to terms with my diagnosis. It took me a year to come to terms with my diagnosis. Why, I'm not sure. I just brushed it under the carpet, and I didn't want to realise that actually my difficulties growing up weren't personal feelings for me, but a symptom of a condition. Now accepting my diagnosis was a step forwards me understanding. Now accepting my diagnosis, it has been a step forwards for me understanding myself more. Autism by itself isn't a mental illness, however people who are autistic are more likely to experience mental illnesses than the general population. In particular, they are more likely to have anxiety, depression, OCD and eating disorders. A combination of biological differences in the stroke makeup of the brain of an autistic person, communication difficulties, social differences and low self-esteem often are contributing factors in the poor mental health of autistic people. Frustratingly, there are very few, if not no, mental health service providing specialist support for autistic people in the UK, and many of us struggle to get the appropriate levels of support. Personally, I find there is lack of knowledge by mental health professionals around autism, though some have been great. However, I am lucky to have a team who try and understand my autism as much as they can. For some, they end up with no support and go without any diagnosis, and this isn't good enough. We need to make sure that everyone with autism has access to formal diagnoses, and should they want stroke need the appropriate services which are easily accessible. Unfortunately, these services for autism aren't easily accessible, and that is frustrating. There is a lot of charities though you can self-refer to, just as a side note. If you have autism just like me, please don't be afraid to tell people you have autism. I don't use my autism as an excuse, but it is helpful to let people know at times situations can arise where someone would need to know how to support me in the correct manner and not get frustrated or angry at me or shout in my face. It can be so frustrating for me when people don't understand autism, but usually people are very helpful and they try and understand as much as they possibly can. Now I know not everyone's going to understand autism, and that's the same with mental health. No one's going to fully understand unless they've been through it themselves, and that is frustrating. But all we can do is keep trying to spread the word and make it less stigmatised, because being stigmatised is just so bloody annoying.